The Coalition has recently changed the way they will be introducing new characters into Gears 5. Recently, they introduced 3 new characters halfway through an operation, which means we will no longer have to wait at least 3 months to get the average of 4 characters per operation, and this brings up the possibility of getting even more characters by the end of Operation 3. And seeing as we'll be getting more characters a lot more frequently, I decided to take a look and see which characters I would like to see introduced into Gears 5 again, whether they are new characters from Gears 5 or old characters that we know and love from the previous titles. This is a list of characters I want to see make a return to Gears 5 multiplayer. Before we get onto the list, let me know which characters you would like to see reintroduced into Gears 5, and if there's somebody that you think I missed, check out my previous video where we talk about 10 more characters that I think should also be in Gears 5, but we focus more on obscure or at least not the main cast. But with all that being said, let's get on to number 10. First up on the list, we have Reyna Diaz, a fairly newcomer to the series as she was only introduced in Gears 4. But despite having very little screen time, she has played a crucial role in the newest trilogy. Being mother to Kate Diaz as well as daughter to the Locust Queen Mira, she has a strong connection to the Locust Horde. Kidnapped by the Swarm in order to be connected to the Locust Hive Mind, she was killed by Kate Diaz at the end of Gears 4 in order to end her mother's suffering. She also made an appearance in Gears Tactics, which means that she might be getting more screen time either in Gears 6 or more in Gears Tactics, as she is more of a playable character and part of the main cast in Gears Tactics. At number 9, we have Lieutenant Min Young Kim, a veteran of the franchise. He appeared in the very first Gears of War, and despite not having a lot of screen time, seeing as he was killed by General Rom very early on in the campaign, he quickly became a fan favorite and has made a return to every single Gears of War in multiplayer. Lieutenant Kim was the original commander of Zeta Squad, in which he led his team to evacuate Lima City hours before General Rom attacked. This was however going against direct orders, and as a result he was demoted and reassigned to Delta Squad. Years later, along with the help of Dominic Santiago, he led the mission to rescue Marcus Phoenix from the Jacinto Maximum Security Prison, also known as Battle of the Slab. Next up, we have Dizzy Wallin, probably my favorite character from the Gears of War universe. He made his first appearance in Gears of War 2, in which he fought alongside Delta Squad in Operation Hollowstorm. He was their assault derrick driver and ensured that Marcus, along with the rest of his team, made it to the point safely. Before the Locust attack, Dizzy fought alongside the COG during the Pendulum Wars, but was left stranded after the Hammer of Dawn strikes once the Locusts did emerge. This led to Dizzy hating the COG somewhat, but decided to rejoin through Operation Lifeboat after he realized that being stranded was not the best life for their family. Dizzy has fought in many battles, Operation Hollowstorm being one of them, as well as fighting during the Lambent pandemic. He also helped Delta Squad reach Azura during the events of Gears of War 3. On to our first Locust character, Skorge, also known as Ketor Skorge. He made his first appearance in Gears of War 2 and was a high priest and later high general of the Locust army. Before Emergence Day, Skorge fought alongside Rom during the Lambent War, which was a civil war between the Lambent and the Locusts. Assisted by Rom, Skorge also led the attack on Sarah to start off Emergence Day and the war against humanity. After General Rom's death in Gears of War 1, Skorge took over as High General of the Locust Army. If Skorge doesn't come back as his own character, then I would at least like to see him be a skin for Cantus, as after all, Skorge is a priest. At number 6, we have Kaliso, another character that didn't have a lot of time in the spotlight but became a fan favorite due to his quiet but strong demeanor. Ty fought alongside Lieutenant Kim in Zeta Squad, but before that he fought during the Pendulum Wars and has a long history with Marcus Phoenix, where the two are constantly saving one another. In my opinion, Ty's armor is one of the best looking armors in Gears of War, having that large right shoulder piece. And oh yeah, he's also responsible for the creation of the Mark II Lancer, in which they attached the chainsaw bayonet on it after Ty sawed a Locust drone in half using a power saw in order to save Marcus Phoenix. At number 5, we have our second Locust character on the list, and they are the Lambent, also known as Glowies. I couldn't choose on just one Lambent character, so why not just have all of them? Introduce one Lambent character into the game, and then just make skins for him. And in appearance, they don't differ much from the Locust. The only major difference is that they are glowing green, hence the name Glowies. The Lambent have been in Gears of War since the very first game, and they are initially regular locusts that have been mutated due to prolonged exposure to emulsion. Despite being in the series since the very first game, they didn't become a playable character until Gears of War 4, and that is why I would like for them to return into Gears 5. At number 4, we have Paduk, a pretty obvious choice in my opinion. He was part of the main cast in Gears 5, so I don't understand why he isn't playable in multiplayer yet. And we even have evidence, or at least photos from before Gears 5 was launched, that Paduk was a playable character in Gears 5. The Coalition has since said that he was just a placeholder image, but we can see that he was a playable, or at least a selectable character. Before Gears 5, Paduk made his first appearance in Gears of War Judgment, in which he fought alongside Baird in Kilo's squad and fended off the Locust attacking horde in Halvo Bay. But even way before that, he actually fought against the COG during the Pendulum Wars, as he was a major in the UIR military. He only joined the COG after the Locust attacked and destroyed his hometown, but also as a means to get out of prison. We've made it to our top 3, and in all honesty, any of these characters could be at number 1, but taking our number 3 spot, we have Victor Hoffman. Hoffman was chief of the COG defense staff, which meant he led the COG army for most of the Locust War. He was responsible for planning the light mass offensive along with Operation Hollowstorm and many other major battles against the Locust Horde. Before the Locust War, Hoffman fought in the Pendulum Wars and hated being promoted so high. Hoffman preferred to be in the front lines fighting alongside his fellow Gears. Hoffman is a staple in the Gears of War games, as he was introduced in the very first Gears of War and has since been a playable character in every game following it. Our runner-up taking the number 2 spot is Anya Stroud. Anya joined the COG during the Pendulum Wars but did not serve as a frontline gear. Instead, she became a communications officer. After the Pendulum Wars, Anya continued to be a communications officer during the Locust War and assisted Marcus along with Delta Squad during the events of Gears of War 1 and Gears of War 2. It wasn't until Gears of War 3 that she became a frontline gear. Despite being present since the very first Gears of War, Anya Stroud has only been a playable character in 2 games, Gears of War 3 and Gears of War 4, and as a result, I would like to see her make a return to Gears 5. And finally, at number 1, we have Dominic Santiago, a pretty obvious choice in my opinion, and it baffles me that he is still not in Gears 5. I think that Dominic is just as important as Marcus, seeing as he has been in the game since the very first Gears of War. Dom fought in the Pendulum Wars and was responsible for saving Marcus from the slap after he was sentenced to 40 years in prison. After saving Marcus from prison, the two fought alongside each other throughout the Locust War as well as the Lambent pandemic until Dom sacrificed himself to save the rest of Delta Squad. If Dom gets added to Gears 5, I would personally like to see his Gears of War 3 model, as I think that's when Dom looked his best. And there you have it. Those are 10 characters that I would like to see be added into Gears 5. Let me know, did any of your characters make it onto the list? And if they didn't, let me know in the comments below which characters you would want to see reintroduced into Gears 5. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, as it really helps me out a lot. And as always, hope you have a good one, and catch you all next time.